Welcome to Rick and That Michelle Chick. I'm that Michelle Chick.
And I'm Rick. Welcome, welcome.
So we are both animal lovers.
Mm-hmm.
And we also volunteered to help animals. I foster cats and kittens, and you sit on the board of POP, which is the Pet Overpopulation Program. Is that right? Did I say that right?
Absolutely. In the Tri-Cities. Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So I first read the headline that said, Zoo in Denmark wants to feed your pets to its predators. Okay, I instantly thought cats and dogs, since it said pets. Instantly. That was my first thought, right? I mean, any normal person would think that, right? Okay, well, It's definitely a clickbait headline. And so, of course, I read the story, I clicked it. The zoo is asking for pets that are near the end of their life, and they're asking for chickens, rabbits, guinea pigs, even horses. They will be humanely euthanized by the zoo and then used as food. So because I also had in my mind that they were just gonna like throw the pets alive in the cage with the lion. When I read this headline,
you see that, but you do see that. I mean, you see that when they, when you're watching the Tiger King and all this crapola.
Yeah, which again, I had that in my mind that they're throwing like this cat or dog in the cage with the lion alive. But I am not a fan of rodents as pets. Like I cannot. I can handle snakes, but I cannot handle like mice, rats, hamsters, guinea pigs, etc. So I really don't mind if they're feeding them like guinea pigs and rabbits, and people eat rabbits.
Of course.
I'm a horse lover. I had a horse growing up. And so my first thought was, oh no, not horses. But then I thought about, when they get old, they usually get sold off to the slaughterhouse to be made into dog food at the dog food factory. And I know how they are killed there. So I'm thinking like this would be a better way for them to go.
It's kind of interesting. So there are things that and my co-host Patty likes to look at these videos. I do not. So there are things that I refuse to watch. I refuse to watch any video where an animal's getting hurt. I refuse to watch like you said, if there was a video of them feeding, even if it's just the carcass of a dog or a cat thrown out to a lion. I refuse to. I don't watch those things where other people are like so fascinated. Like, really? I mean, what if that was your ass getting chewed on by a lion? It's one of those things. Now, I would like to see it if it was humanly possible. I'd love to see the lion eating the poacher. Now, why? How come we never show videos of that where the lion attacks the poacher? Now, that to me is a great video. I want to see that.
Yeah, which I mean, that has happened a couple of times, hasn't it? Hasn't like an elephant?
I've never seen the video.
Killed the hunters. Which wasn't that lion just killed? That super popular lion. Shoot, was his name Goldie or Blondie? I'm drawing a blank now. But that was super popular.
That story I can't stand. Yeah, the one where they lure the old lion. We talked about that years ago, I think. And
this is a new lion. They did the same thing where they baited him with food to get him off his preserve. So he, when they're in their preserve, they can't be hunted. And they lured him off, and he was super popular, and they killed him.
And that's one of those things. Even Megan and I, my wife, go around and around about, because she's like, and people make that argument like, well, it's a way of life in Africa, and that's how they make money. Right. Well, you know what? Let's find other ways to make money. I just have never understood hunting something to extinction. I don't understand. I mean, I understand. Okay, so I grew up at the Grand Ronde River. I understand hunting elk or hunting deer.
But that's for food. I mean, that's how I grew up too.
Right, but even from a plentiful standpoint, there's plenty of deer, plenty of elk, and you buy a tag every year and you get your limit. And I mean, poachers are the worst too. Poachers are the worst. But I have never understood killing zebras, rhinos, giraffes, especially a giraffe. A giraffe is gigantic.
Or an elephant.
Like, ooh, what's that?
Or an elephant. I mean,
it's like, ooh. I mean, I can't do that. I don't understand that. I don't think you're a man. I don't think you're macho. And like you said, when you have to lure a lion out of its den to kill it, and also I've always thought if you're going to do something like that, the animal should have a sporting chance to get away.
Or get
So
you.
and so it's like, so when I do read stories where they get gored to death by a bull or anything, I laugh. I'm sorry, I have no sympathy. It's kind of like the COVID people that refused to wear masks, and those people that were like, I'm not getting, I'm not getting the shot. Okay, don't get the shot. And then 2 weeks later, you see on their Facebook, sorry, Steve passed away. Well,
Right.
bye, dumbass. I mean, so but you already know how I feel about that. I think human beings are basically the worst thing that's ever happened to the planet Earth.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
I
we are
just
going
think
to kill
so.
ourselves.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, absolutely, and for what? I guess I don't understand. Like you said, I understand. And I'm not a vegetarian. I eat
Me either.
chicken. I eat meat. I eat. But parts of me have thought, maybe I should be a vegetarian. Because I've seen, because it's funny is these horrific videos you see online now,
Right.
to where it's like you show a cow getting, going to go to the slaughter, and it's even the inhumane way on how we treat that cow when they show the video.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where I struggle with that a lot. And so it's one of the, and I do understand circle of life, but why do we have to be cruel in why do we have to be cruel in that circle of life?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like you. I don't like rodents. I don't like snakes. I don't like lizards.
So you're fine you're fine if the zoo feeds those to their predator animals.
You said that they were like towards the end of life.
Yeah, that's what yes, the zoo is asking for animals that are towards the end of their life. Obviously, horses, they can't have certain diseases and that kind of thing. Right. So they kind of have to be screened, which understandably so. And and they said that the zookeeper would humanely euthanize them, which is what we would do to our own pets at their end of life.
But I would not. I wouldn't toss Barkley to a lion.
No, they're not asking for dogs or cats.
Right. I mean,
at least not yet.
You're right. Right. So it's one of those things where I look at Bodie, Barkley, Roxy, Phoebe, who passed away. They're members of the family.
Yes.
So, but then again, there are some people in my family that I would toss to a lion. So I guess I really got to rethink that. I'll get back to you on it.
Right. You're still on the fence as far as that goes.
What's that?
You're still on the fence.
Well, yes, but even then, now not to get off topic, but even the worst person to me, even my worst enemy, I don't think I'd ever want anything to befall them, because then I'd feel guilty later about it.
Oh.
Now, if it happened to them, and I didn't cause it.
Listen to me, I'm just like, oh.
then I would giggle my ass off. So as long as I didn't cause their downfall,
right?
So
well, of course,
then I'm good. But if karma got him, oh, I'd be like,
yeah, I have no problem with people getting what they deserve. So
absolutely, oh yeah, I am definitely. You already know me well enough to know I'm an eye for an eye kind of guy. Yeah. So always have been. You mistreat somebody or mistreat something, guess what? I hope it comes back tenfold. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, Shaylee tried to be vegetarian. Speaking of, you thinking you should be vegetarian. She tried to be vegetarian. I think she was like 10. And she opened the pantry door, and the ramen cup of noodles. Well, all we had was chicken flavored, and she wanted one. And she just kind of stood there for a second, and she goes, "Can I eat this?" And I said, "Well, I don't know if this is real chicken or fake chicken. I don't know. It just
chicken flavoring,
chicken.
So I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm guessing no. You probably should. I don't know. I'm sure there's some kind of app that will tell us. And then she goes, "Well, I don't want to be vegetarian anymore." Yeah. So
I want that damn ramen. I want that ramen with chicken.
It lasted a day. She was also 10. So, A for effort. She tried and thought about it. Better than most of us adults do.
Yeah, well, I've been on this diet, so I lost 20 pounds on this diet, and so I did try Boca burgers and different things, plant-based different things, and so I thought, well, if I had to be vegetarian, I think I could get away. I could do it.
Yeah, some of it's okay. We've tried the butter and the sour cream, the plant-based stuff, and it still kind of has that plant after tastiness to it. Even some of the really good stuff. So
Yeah, same for me, cauliflower. Every time I've ever been on a diet, I've tried cauliflower. It tastes like shit no matter what you try to do to it.
Cauliflower
And I
pizza
just
and rice.
Yeah, I can't. And I do it to myself every single time. I'm like, oh, I'll try a little, butter or whatever. Nope, tastes like crap.
Oh, I mean,
So,
I like roasted cauliflower. Not in my not as my
oh,
pizza crust, but I like it.
okay,
Just
all
to
right,
eat
all
it.
right.
So
So,
yeah.
but yeah, those kind of videos or those kind of things, I try to avoid anything that hurts another animal.
Right.
And I guess even as a kid, remember we watched Mutual of Omaha
Oh yes,
with
that was traumatizing.
Marlon Perkins and all that. And I
Yeah.
mean, as a kid, you're like, and the lion attacks the zebra and all that. I mean, yeah, as kids, we'd watch it in school.
Oh yeah, we had to sit there. They'd wheel in the ginormous TV, and we'd have to watch that. Bambi was the movie that traumatized me. I would think I was like 4 or 5 when it came out.
Of course,
that traumatized me so bad as a little kid. Like, I mean, so bad. And my dad was a hunter, so
why does no one ever call out Disney for the fact that they always kill the parents off? Always.
And it's always the mom. It's always the mom. Well, except for in Lion King. That's a different.
Right, but Mufasa, I still cry during Mufasa dying. Absolutely, of course, I love Mufasa. What do you know?
Yeah, we'd be watching Lion King, and Shaylee she'd be like, "Speed it up, speed it up." The part where he's gonna die. So I'd have to fast forward it past that part every single time. So,
of course,
yeah,
Mufasa's the man. Yeah, exactly. And for us, I know Logan used to love the Homeward Bound series.
Oh yes,
with is it Shadow and there's a cat with Sally Field.
I'm trying to think of the cat's name. Shoot,
and I want to say it's Chance or Chase is the dog, which is Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, I think it's Chance.
It's Chance. Chance.
It's been so long since the kids have watched that.
Girl,
I have no idea.
I mean, I know who you're. Sassy.
Yes.
Sassy is the name of the cat.
I should have remembered that because that's why Mathews' cat is named Sassy. But she's not.
But I mean, but even movies like Benji and Lassie,
Old Yeller. Hello. That was the most traumatizing.
Horrible. And we watched that in school.
Yes.
Oh, and we also watched the one, is it where the red fern grows or whatever, where's the baby deer or whatever. It's like, what the F are we watching this? Looking back, it's like, what are we watching this in school for?
Man, no wonder Gen Z is messed up. Look at all the things
we had to watch. They probably don't have to watch. Yeah, the kids coming up probably don't have to watch any of this stuff.
Or they see worse stuff. I mean, they have YouTube and all TikTok and all that kind of stuff. So video games.
I don't know. I think
we didn't have.
We saw what, Romeo and Juliet, where you got a little side boob. That was about all you got to see a little bit of that. And then
what you remember?
Well, that's what I remember. And then for me going through school, one of the craziest videos that they don't or movies was Nanook of the North. And you'll have to go do
why does that sound familiar?
Because we were showing it like in 4th or 5th grade, where it's the Eskimos and how they keep warm and they live in an igloo, and it's called Nanook of the North, and it's a movie from like 1940, 1950, but it's an educational movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because it was almost like going to the library and looking at a National Geographic. Because remember when you first saw your first boobs or whatever, it was National Geographic in the school library.
Right.
And so this Nanook of the North movie, of course, had one, and now the family's getting ready for bedtime, and you see the boobs. You see boobs, but but I mean, it's educational.
Right. I mean, skin to skin is how you stay warm.
It's how they stayed warm. So, but it's called Nanook of the North. Maybe someone is old enough as we that remember that. And that's why it is familiar. When you go do a little search after you get off the podcast.
Yeah. Now I'm going to have to go watch it and be traumatized even more.
Yeah. So I do. I don't think none of the kids have to go through what we had to go through. So no Mutual of Omaha.
No.
Different things like that.
No.
But it's, again, I understand why that zoo's doing that. I understand, and I guess a horse is tough to dispose of.
Oh yeah.
So
legally, you can't just go bury a. Well, I mean, in the United States,
I don't know if
this is in Denmark.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, you can't, especially in our state. I just know this because my aunt's old horse died, and so they couldn't just get a backhoe and bury it on our property. So you have to have it disposed of.
Ways to dispose of your horse.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So.
That's interesting, and not just taxidermy where they stuff them.
I mean, you could.
You love that horse.
You could if you want to.
Think about how expensive it would be to stuff a horse. That's got to be expensive.
Well, I mean, if you love that horse, I guess it would be worth it. I mean,
I've
you
thought
could
about
still
that for my
pet
own
it.
animals, and I thought that's a little creepy. I mean, I thought, I talked to Megan
People have
about
done
that.
that, yeah, with their cats and dogs. Shaylee talks about doing it with our one-eyed cat Thor that she loves. So she's
I
talked
just
about
think,
having him
I just think it's
taxidermied.
creepy. Yeah. I mean, on one hand, I think it having Phoebe stuffed, but then on the other hand, I'm like,
Right.
nah, I don't know if I.
Well, I mean, again, my dad was a hunter, and when you have the deer head with the little glass beady eyes
Yeah,
at
no.
night, when the light shines off of their little glass eyes as you're trying to walk from your bedroom to your bathroom, and it freaks you the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah.
like that's I mean, your cat or your dog would be the same. They would have little glass eyes,
Right.
just like
Right.
sitting there staring at you
I just think,
in
not
whatever
some.
way you want them to. Cats are sometimes like curled up. That's how
Yeah.
they,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
taxidermy
I've watched enough TV shows or YouTube channels where they've stuffed their animal, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's creepy.
I
And,
mean,
and
they're
there
doing
was a
that with
TV. There was a
people.
TV show about it. There was a TV show actually on A&E or whatever about stuffing your pets,
Oh, dang.
and they go pick up their pets and stuff. I'm like, what
Right.
the? Change channel.
They're doing that with people. Haven't you seen the funerals where people are there was a guy that loved his motorcycle, and they had him sitting on the motorcycle like at the funeral. I'm they're not necessarily stuffed. I'm not really sure how they're preserving them, but I've just seen little bits about this or like some guy was sitting in his classic car, and yeah, it looks freaky because obviously they're dead and they don't look the same, so you can only put so much makeup on someone. So,
that is creepy.
but
That's
yeah,
creepy.
people are doing that. So I guess if we want to be someplace we love, or with our car.
Have you already decided how? Are you going to be buried or cremated? Have you decided that?
Oh, there. Sorry, I was glitching for a second.
Have you decided if you're going to be buried or cremated?
Cremated.
Cremated, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much. Megan wants to be cremated, and then she wants to come back as a tree. It's kind of what we discussed.
Oh yeah. Well, you can be made into fertilizer in our state.
Oh,
certain
you can
states
be made into vinyl records nowadays. You can be made into lots of different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cremated for me. I don't want any bugs crawling in. I mean, even though I'm dead, but the thought of that just grosses me out.
I think it would be, for me, being such a comic book lover, it'd be cool to be mixed into a comic book or something.
Oh, there you go. Cool. Yeah.
Something
I'm sure
cool
they
like
can
that.
mix you into the ink and
something
print
different.
you out.
But I already know. But I already discussed in a previous podcast where I'm, my ass is gone anyway. Because you remember Megan got mad about my mom being in the house, so I know that I would not be long for the world as ashes. I'm gonna be dumped somewhere. I don't know where I'm gonna be dumped, but I'll be dumped somewhere.
Maybe at a Comic-Con. She'll take you to a Comic-Con. She will, sprinkle you all over people.
I don't even think she'd be sentimental. I don't think she has a sentimental bone in her body about those things.
Gosh, you're gonna get yourself in trouble now.
Knowing my luck, I'll be out on the front porch.
Well,
I don't know. And the rain will wash me away.
I was just gonna say she could just sweep you up, sweep you away. Well, since we're talking about dead people, we can transition to the other thing I wanted to talk about, which, okay, so did you see this AI version of the Parkland deceased victim?
So weird.
That Jim Acosta interviewed. Have you seen that?
I have not. Tell me about it.
Okay, so there's an AI generated Joaquin Oliver. He's one of the victims from the Parkland school shooting. Which his parents created this AI version of him. So it's his parents, wanting this to happen. And then they wanted the interview. They wanted Jim Acosta to interview him. And so I watched it because of course I was fascinated.
Yeah, absolutely.
He discusses gun control measures, obviously, because his parents do have a nonprofit for gun control. And then Jim is asking him basic questions, and he talks about movies. At first, I thought it was a little bit creepy, but then I started thinking, okay, if I lost a kid so tragically, I would probably do the same, because the mom was talking. She said that sometimes she'll go and talk to this AI generated version of her son and ask him
Yeah.
questions. And so in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I mean, if I lost a kid so tragically, I would probably do that. But now some people are raising questions about AI generating dead people and the ethics surrounding it. And my thought is, well, the parents did it themselves. So right there, that makes it okay as, as his parents if they did it and had it produced. But of course, with AI, bad people are going to do bad things,
Oh, of course.
with the deceased people, and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, look at all the AI generated deep fake videos that are out that you can't really tell are even fake. So I can't imagine what people are going to do with deceased loved ones and try
Well,
to
I just pulled
get
up the
people.
article. This thing is all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
and then the parents. I like the parents. Their reasoning is this is how they get to spend time with their son. I guess
Yeah.
they've inputted his favorite movies,
Mm-hmm.
different
Yeah.
things like that. They got somehow they got his speaking voice,
Yeah.
and
I'm
they
not
that
sure. I didn't.
I don't know how they got the speaking voice,
There
but
was
it says it's in
nothing.
his speak.
Yeah, there was nothing in the article that I read, and I don't. And in the little snippet that I watched of Jim Acosta doing the interview, nothing is really said about that. So I'm not sure how they. But you figure AI can do anything with voices now, so
Right,
it's
absolutely.
possible that it just regenerated his voice from when he was a teenager before the shooting happened. I guess if you had voice of your loved one, they could
Well,
recreate
and
it. So
this avatar, it's got information that it's gleaned from the internet, and then things Oliver wrote, said, posted online. So it is parts of his personality are in the AI
mhm. Yep.
avatar that they've created. I mean, whew, I mean, and even the mom says it's not about bringing him back.
No,
It's not about bringing him back, but they can spend time with him,
right,
and I that's powerful. I
right,
mean, really,
right.
I I I have a friend. She's a wonderful person. Her name is Shauna, and her daughter passed away a few years ago in a tragic car accident. And so, even to this day, I know that I see little memorials and different things. I want to say the daughter's name's Leah, Leia or Leah. And my friend still hurts with the loss of her daughter. Now she has multiple children, but this one was cut short in life, 18 years old. And so her and her friend were out. They didn't cause the accident. They were going through an intersection, and someone ran a red light
Oh.
there and killed him. And so I've talked to my son a lot. I've talked to Logan about um, I I have to I can't outlive my own kid. I can't do it. It's like I don't know about you, but it's like I don't want and I've known people who've lost kids through drug abuse, uh, ODs,
Right,
suicide, different things. Work people that I've worked with have lost their kids,
right.
and it changes you. So I'm,
I get it.
I exactly. I mean, yeah. Is there a moral question about the AI or the avatar? I guess,
But again, it's
but
the parents that had it
huh?
created.
It wasn't so. Yeah, it wasn't
It
so.
wasn't
Yeah, it wasn't.
somebody, yeah, else doing it that was looking to cause harm or, fake out the parents, with a deep fake of it, just stuff like that. I mean,
Well, and I understand, and I definitely understand that because I look at it. So for me, we talked on a different podcast about celebrity passings away and stuff, and I've often said for me to actually cry at a funeral, even with somebody I knew, it's got to be for me a deep connection, like really deep connection. So people I felt like I should have cried over at a funeral, I didn't cry over.
right.
But there have been people in my life that have passed away that I absolutely did, like my foster mom, my foster dad. Um, and it was so funny. I was in Boise over the weekend visiting my best buddy from high school, and I was trying to come back, and I came back through Baker City, where my foster sister lives, Kathy, who's a spitting image of my foster mom. She is
Oh,
my foster mom, and they weren't home, but I was texting back and forth with her, you know, and I thought to myself how much I loved my foster sister. Like if I could spend tons of time with her, I would, because number
mhm,
one, she is just like my foster mom. So it's almost for me, it's almost like spending time with with my foster mom,
right.
even though they're two different people. even though they're wonderfully two different people,
Right.
there's so much of my foster mom in her. So to me, if you ask me if I could create an avatar of my foster parents, no amount of money would keep me from doing that.
Right.
That I could just talk to them.
Right.
So I'm kind of on. I don't under. I mean, AI. I think AI has good things, and I think AI has bad things. But this one, I think, is a good thing.
Right.
Especially, when you're hurting.
Yes.
No, when you're hurting.
And the problem is there's no real regulations over AI. It's just kind of the wild, wild west at this point. And how do you even police something like that if somebody did create a deep fake video of your loved one and then send it to you? You know, it's just craziness. Like, how is this even going to get controlled and policed? Like what's going to happen? Like, things got to be in place at some point in time.
Wasn't there a movie called Her or different things like that, where it was an artificial intelligence?
Yes.
And then take it to the next step here. You ready, Michelle?
Okay.
The one that got away.
Oh, goodness. That's what you're going to create?
No, I'm just saying. Though, if the one that got away or the one that never was.
True.
You could take photos and take information and create an AI version of this fantasy.
So women, we could create our perfect man.
You could
Who
put
does the
Alexander
dishes?
Skarsgård in there if you want. Sam Hunt. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So there's a little creepy, but it's like, what should be the limitations on that?
Yeah, I mean,
do you think there should be a law? Do you think there should be a law on that?
Well, for people that, not for like us as the parents. So his parents, it was them who had it created. That's different than if someone else is creating it and then using it against you or just putting it out there. That's completely two different things, but there is no regulation over that currently either. So something is going to have to be done with this whole AI craziness. But again, it's just a wild, wild west at this point. So.
Well, the internet one time was wild, wild west, and they clamped down on it, and it still is to some extent. I believe President Trump was talking about something with AI and deep fakes and all that, different things like that. So I'll be curious to see if any legislation ever passes on that. I always look at, as long as billionaires are getting rich, if billionaires are getting rich off AI, guess what?
There's no regulations. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Not going to happen, because if it means more money in their pocket, and again, if you can make a smear video of your political opponent, why would you not?
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, look,
and
there
people
was
will
deep
believe it.
fakes made of Obama and Joe Biden.
Yeah, what was the one that was just posted where he was getting knocked out of his chair and getting deported?
Well, Trump posted that on his social.
Yeah. So come on. So, but I think the reasoning why they created the avatar, in terms of gun safety, I think that's a good mission. I think that's a good
right.
A good message.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So it's
I would want to create my dad, like you were talking about your foster mom. Like I would want my dad to be singing karaoke again, like he used to. So I get it.
I think I would create Logan without the sarcasm.
Ooh, we could create our perfect children.
I know he's listening to this podcast. So Logan, I would take parts of your mom out.
Oh gosh! Oh no! Oh, you're gonna get us in so much trouble.
He's gonna kill me.
I should just invite him and not tell you.
You should. That would be awesome.
You
should be awesome. That'd be awesome. That'd be great.
He could hit you with everything. Then
he would correct you. Here's all the things he said that are wrong. So
this isn't true. You exaggerated. No, right.
Well, think about how sad it is for the words left unsaid.
Oh,
like the Parkland victims. It's like, as a parent, you don't know if you're not seeing your child for the very last time.
Right.
And what if you had a fight before they went to school that day?
Right.
Like they didn't clean their room or something so stupid and petty.
Right. And as a parent,
they go off.
Right. That's something we would just instinctively, as a parent, get upset with them about.
The guilt would eat you alive if your kid had gone off to school on that fateful day, and it would be horrific. So I also think it's a good way to heal. I mean, I know this is kind of bizarre, but maybe a good way to heal.
Maybe, yeah.
So I would If I love somebody that much, I would probably do that.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I probably would. It would just really depend, I think. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, and then I sing. I mean, geez, it's just so. Yeah, these are going to be the questions that morally we'll have to ask over the next 10 to 15, 20 years as AI gets better and better and better.
Right. Yep. Definitely.
So, but yeah, I wouldn't. But people that are obsessed or upset or driven, who knows what?
Yeah, we
what
can
they
create
what
our own stalkers.
what
Can create.
yeah what else? Yeah, what would they do in those particular situations?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Last week we discussed your bullies in the last week's podcast. And that reminded me of my own child, Shaylee, who's the youngest. So I have a story to tell about her. She's going to be pissed off about this, but she might not care. So when she went to preschool, so she was probably around the age of 3 or 4, she started biting children at preschool. But the preschool teacher, Miss Teresa, who is a saint, this woman is a saint. We love her to this day. One, she never told me that Shaylee was biting kids. You know how normally if your kid bites someone, the teacher tells you when you pick them up, or there's like a little slip in their cubby, like, oh, so-and-so did this today. No, she never once told me. And she would just tell Shaylee, oh, Shaylee, don't bite no anymore. That's basically just how she reprimanded her. Then at the age of 5, when she went on to kindergarten, she was still biting kids, but now she was targeting kids that would not tell on her so that she wouldn't get in trouble. So at the age of 4 and 5, she is specifically thinking about, oh, I'm going to bite this child because I know this child won't tell on me. And I'm thinking, when I was 5, I was playing tag and hide and go seek. I was not thinking about, oh, I'm going to bite this kid and they're not going to tell on me. Then around Christmas time, she was probably like 8 or 9. We're getting all the Christmas decorations out. There's like Christmas music playing in the background. And all of a sudden she just like stops and she says, do you know the best way to dispose of a dead body? And I just like I stopped for a second. I think I had like a Christmas tote in my hand. I just kind of froze for a second. And I'm thinking, oh shit, did I buy this kid everything that was on her Christmas list? I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? And I said, oh, are you asking because you know or because you need to know?
Right. Oh gosh.
And she was like, then she just like proceeded to tell me, you know, like the best way to dispose of a dead body. And so if I am ever killed, you know, the first person that you need to look at right there. So, and you feel this is like 4, 5, 8 years old that she's doing all these things and saying all these things. And look, and we just learned about the biting thing. She just told us about it a few years ago. We had no clue, no clue.
So she got away with it.
Yes, because she was targeting kids that wouldn't tell on her. Like she got away with it. She's 19.
Hannibal Lecter.
Yes.
Hannibal Lecter, right.
Yes. So I'm thinking the new requirements for sociopath when kids are like little, isn't it like one of them like harming animals, which she loves animals and setting things on fire? I think this should be added.
But that might have been a clue, but at least a little bit of
crazy. So,
and I'm surprised the teacher just never brought it up.
No, Miss Teresa, again, she's a saint and she never said anything to me. And by then she had learned, once she went to kindergarten, to target the kids that wouldn't tell. So then they wouldn't tell like the playground teacher or the teacher, and she got away with it. And I asked her, I said, well, were you leaving marks on these kids? And she was like, maybe a little bit, but nothing too serious. I'm thinking, what parent is not noticing that their child is coming home with like, teeth marks or whatever on their arm, wherever she was biting them? I don't know, because as a parent, I would freak out and go to the school and be like, hey, why is my kid
it was biting my kid? Exactly.
Yeah, but nobody, nothing. She got away with it.
That's crazy. Well, I guess it was a phase.
I mean, who knows? I don't know. She could still be biting
She might still
people.
be biting people. You don't know. You don't know.
Yep.
But
who knows?
that's
I don't know.
that's kind of sociopathic behavior.
Yeah.
I'll mark that one down. That's just kind of crazy that you got away with it. That's
Yeah.
the fascinating thing about the story is how could she have, that,
At 4 years old.
Yeah.
Again, when I was 4, I was not thinking those things. Like, you're not strategizing. I don't know what the correct word would be. I mean, that you're thinking, I'm going to specifically target these kids because they're not going to tell on me. I mean, she was profiling other kids at that age because she was figuring out which kids wouldn't tell on her, which is crazy at 4 that you would think that or have that ability. So,
well, I think every child is different and their motivations are totally different. I had to go to this wedding in Anatone recently, and I was talking to Melanie, who's in my book, Melanie Botts, the little girl that I probably experienced lots of firsts with. And one of the stories I had forgotten about was Melanie had made me touch an electric fence when we were little kids. And so, her sister Tracy was at this wedding. Melanie, I haven't seen Melanie in 30, 40 years, but her sister Tracy, and she goes, hey, she goes, my sister was so mean to you and so cruel to you. And I said, what do you mean? And she goes, remember when she made you touch the electric fence? And I went, oh yeah, I do remember that. Well, apparently, as Tracy says, is Melanie had blackmail on me. I had done something naughty. And so to get me to touch this electric fence, Melanie blackmailed me by saying, well, I'm going to tell Pearl if you don't touch this fence.
oh gosh.
Because being on the ranch, you have electric fences.
Oh yeah, we do too.
Back then all over the place. But and I remember getting shocked, but I just cannot for the life remember what I was getting blackmailed for. But
that was going to be my question. What was the blackmail? I
don't know. Even Tracy didn't know.
Darn.
But it's funny how Tracy, who's the older sister, has a different recollection of her sister than I have of her sister.
You have this fond recollection.
I have a fond recollection. Well, what's a good way to describe? I mean, we were little kids. Melanie I even write about it in the book. She got me in a lot of trouble for different things, like my first cigarette, right. different things. So she was, what was the code word? Fast.
Back then,
she was way more experimental than I probably would have been at that age, and she just drugged me along with her. So
basically, she's just a different version of Shaylee, basically.
Yeah, basically. Well, she'd be one of those, like, I'll jump off this ledge if you'll jump off this ledge, and then you end up jumping off the ledge, and then she doesn't jump off the ledge. She's up there still. You're like, why didn't you jump? She goes, I'm not stupid. Or, she's kind of like that personality.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Still, Shayla, you got away with one. Better mark that up to karma on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to know what she said the best way to dispose of a body was when she was 8?
Yeah, let's hear the plan.
Yeah, she goes on to tell me, she goes, okay, so you take the body. Remember, she's 8. So she goes, you take the body and you take it up into the woods and you bury it. And then you find a dead animal. And then you put some dirt on top of the body. Then you put the dead carcass in the hole. And then you put some dirt on that. And she goes, because then when the cadaver dogs hit on it, they're only going to find the dead carcass and not the body.
Oh, so clever.
And I was like,
Dexter.
I was
like, Dexter. Yeah. Good job, Dexter.
I mean, that's why our dog is named Dexter, because she loves that show. So.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, I had no idea if what she was telling me was like legit, or again, she was 8 and I'm thinking, where is she getting this information? YouTube. It had to be YouTube, or Dexter wasn't. I don't think Dexter was out during that time, and she wouldn't be watching Dexter. Although they did watch like Five Nights at Freddy's, which
maybe that
found out what that was about, and I was like, what the
right?
fuck?
Maybe that was it. I guess you're going to be happy, Michelle, if Shaylee decides to be a surgeon or something.
Well, I mean, that's what we're hoping. She is going to study for genetics, so she has talked about going on to be a doctor, but it's a lot, and I don't know if she wants to do that much school. And also, she doesn't really want to people that much. She doesn't want to deal with the patient's family. Basically, she can deal with the patient, but not the family. So,
well, it's kind of like Dr. House, right?
Yes.
he had diagnosis
Mhm.
everything, but
Yeah.
he don't want to meet the family.
Yeah. Yeah. She's kind of, yeah, she's like the female version of him, basically.
That'd be
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Anyway. All right. So
I'm making notes on the dead body if I got to
I
get rid of
know.
one. So
I've also
yeah, thanks,
heard,
Shaylee.
because now I pay attention to this stuff when I see it or hear it. But I've also seen someone say that if you take a plant or flower that is it endangered? I don't know if that would be the word for plants. And if you plant that on top of the body. So you basically do the same thing she said. So you take the body, you put some dirt on, you bury it, put some dirt on it, then put the plant on top of it, plant it, because then they can't dig up this endangered plant. But I don't know. That's just something I saw on the internet as well. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know if somebody has tried this. I don't know if this is hypothetical. I have no idea. So
It's kind of, I mean, I think about like, I've thought about it a lot, but it's like
about how you want to dispose of a body.
no, like taking the life of somebody.
Oh gosh. Mm-mm.
Like I mean, I know I'm not a sociopath because to break somebody's neck, or I mean, just think about the violent act that it takes to do that.
Right.
So it's one of those. I mean, not that I haven't thought about it, but I'm like, I in even talking big, I'm like, I even going to war with a gun
Right.
and I know it's your job and you got to take a life, and I guess that's why they say that eventually you just get callous. You numb yourself out of that particular situation. So
Right.
yeah, it's like I just couldn't imagine that.
I mean, as a
Looks
female,
good on paper. Looks great on paper.
Right.
Looks good in a mystery novel. Looks good on a TV
Right, of
show.
course,
But
yeah.
to actually commit the crime,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But as a female, and again, past podcasts we've talked about my stalkers.
Yeah.
You have to kind of think about, oh, okay, if XYZ happened, how would I survive
Oh yeah.
or get out of this? Or if this happened or this happened. And so in our mind, we kind of have to plan for a worst case scenario because we're females.
I know.
And
I couldn't imagine. I mean, a woman always has to plan for, you just don't know. And what 99% of serial killers are male or men or
yes,
are men, and so women are such a small percentage of that. So they're out there. The women are out there, but it's like being a man is completely different than being a woman.
Right. Yep.
And worrying about your surroundings or different things like that.
Yep. All the time. Yep. All right. Well, let's transition into something different. So you mentioned that SNAP is going to regulate what you can and can't buy. Is that right?
Yeah. So for the longest time, of course, SNAP being food stamps or the supplemental, nutrition that it is, it used to be that pretty much not anything that was food related you could buy in the store, and that was gonna that you could so you could buy candy, you could buy soda pop, you could buy chips and different things like that. Well, now a lot of states, especially your red states, have now all teamed up, and they're starting to say, well, no, you can't buy chips or you can't buy soda pop. Or one of the big things that I saw that was added was energy drinks. So your Red Bulls and stuff. That's got to be expensive. I'm not addicted to energy drinks. But I hear that they're outrageously expensive, right?
Yes. Yeah. Shaylee drinks them. So I know.
Yeah.
I go to Costco and buy it in the case for her. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got to basically, that, I mean, I guess that kind of stuff is expensive. It is expensive, but these states are jumping on now. And I'm curious what, on one hand, I'm like, okay, they're trying to control obesity and all that. I was trying to think of what states, West Virginia, Florida, Colorado, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Texas, they've already put new waivers in to limit the food. Mm-hmm. And so that they're in there, but
in our state, you can't buy pop, right? I think.
Yeah, you can.
I thought you couldn't in our state with it.
Nope, you can. So interesting enough, I laugh at Utah restricts purchase of soft drinks. Really? So is that and I'm not going to try to be judgmental on this, but hello Mormons.
Hello, have you not
'Cause
watched the Secret Lives of
no,
Mormon Wives show?
no, they're not. I
You
that makes me laugh that their
you
big
need
thing is
to
you can't have caffeine.
you need to watch that show because all they do is drink pop. They are allowed to drink pop now instead of coffee. So instead of like coffee stands, they have these places called Swig, and it's you just get your pop with
Well,
different flavorings in it. So
so your only restrictions, well, Utah is only soft drinks. West Virginia soft drinks. Texas is drinks, sweetened drinks and candy. Oklahoma soft drinks and candy. Nebraska soda and energy drinks. It really is interesting enough. It really is really against drinking soda pop, basically.
right, which is
And you know
horrible
me,
for
and you
you.
know me. I love my soda pop. I love my
Yes,
soda
you
pop.
do.
I
Yeah.
you know, I'm an advocate. You know, but I. So on one hand, I'm like, okay. Now it's funny. As much as I love soda pop, I don't recall having a lot of soda pop as a kid.
No, me either.
I just don't. I
Mm-mm.
don't. And even being poor like we were, and my foster parents. I lived in a restaurant.
Right. So you had
I
access to
had
it
pop.
every day.
Oh, every single day. And I don't recall my mom and dad giving me soda pop. If I had soda, if I had pop, it was on a special occasion, and I write about it in the book to where if my mom went to town, my dad and I would throw a little party, and he'd give me a bag of M&Ms and crack a soda pop. But that was it.
Oh,
But I didn't have it. I don't recall having it for dinner. Like
right.
it
You didn't
wasn't.
drink it every day.
No,
Right.
no. And then maybe with the Wallaces, I might have had access to soda pop, I guess, a little bit more. They were on food stamps.
Hmm.
That they were on food stamps. So maybe that's when I had a little bit more the soda. But it's one of those things. On one hand, I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. But on the flip side, I'm like, is this people trying to control people again?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like growing up, we didn't really have pop. My brother did drink chocolate milk when he was little. He still had a bottle at like, 2, 3 years old with chocolate milk in it. Um, and then for our kids, again, when we would go out to a restaurant, as a treat, they could get pop, but it was only white pop because they
Oh,
didn't know the
interesting. Okay.
difference.
Right.
Because like Sprite and 7-Up don't have caffeine. And
Right.
so,
Right.
Pepsi, Coke have caffeine. So that's why they were allowed a white pop. And for the longest time, they didn't know, and they were fine with getting that. And then if we had a party, if we had leftover pop, they were allowed to drink that. But then once it was gone, it wasn't in the house.
So you
It
didn't
wasn't in the
regularly.
house all the time. So,
Right, got it. So you didn't go buy a 24 cube of
No.
Pepsi or whatever, and that
No.
was readily available to your kids.
No, and then energy drinks as they got older.
That's the new
Benjamin
huge
and
thing.
Shaylee, which I would limit them and tell them because they could go down to the coffee stand on their way to high school and buy one, and I wouldn't know. And I told them, look, if you're going to drink these, you're only allowed one a day. Like that's all you get. You can have. I'm sure you're going to go buy one and not going to know about it, but just one a day. That's all I ask. And for the most part, they mostly listened. Shaylee's one friend, she drank 6 in one day. And I was like, no, you are not doing that. I don't think so. And she was, her heart was like freaking out.
Is it a status symbol though?
To drink the
I
energy
think it
drink?
is. I think it's the same thing as when a kid gets to walk into class with a Starbucks,
Probably.
and then they walk in with a Red Bull.
Right, probably.
I
because
think people look at that as more of a monster or a Red Bull.
Right.
Let's pick on Red Bull.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting. The states are starting to do this. Not Washington. I was surprised by Colorado, which is a pretty liberal state for the most part, but
Right.
they're going to do. I believe they're going to do soda pop. So the big defenders of people, the people, the SNAP people are saying, well, what about a birthday party? Like where you go to Albertsons and buy a cake, can you not? Because right. So they're like, we're talking about, these are poor people.
Right.
So you're going to keep little Susie from having a birthday cake.
Right.
Now they can buy the ingredients for a cake. At least that's people's rebuttal. Hey, well, they can buy ingredients and make a cake. So, but do you think that's kind of like, do you think that's kind of still trying to control people? Like that's rich people basically telling poor people what they can't have.
Right. Yes. Which I understand, again, people that are on SNAP, they have to make the most out of their money. And so a lot of times
Yeah.
they're buying like top ramen, things that are the cheapest that are going to last them the longest to feed their
And not the
family.
healthiest. And
Right.
it's not because they're deliberately trying to be unhealthy. Have you
Right.
tried to buy healthy food?
Yes, it's expensive.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, they only have a certain amount of money for the month to feed their entire family. So you really have to be mindful of what you're buying, the quantity, what's going to last, what isn't, what's not going to spoil, all that kind of stuff. So I I think that it is controlling. I am against them. I understand the obesity and all that in America, but that could be fixed by this fructose corn syrup, all the dyes. If you look at the things that are
Mhm.
produced in Europe, like take Quaker
Sure.
oats, like their brown sugar little instant packets. Take the one that is produced in Europe and the one that is produced in the USA. The one in Europe has so much healthy ingredients compared to the one in America, which they could make that for America. Like there isn't any reason that they can't if they're doing it. So on that hand, I feel like that's where the government is really going to have to step in and start making our food, making the producers of our food make it healthier. And then in turn, hopefully we as people will make choices. I mean, once we get addicted to sugar of any
Well, of
kind,
course.
then
Uh, it's my it's my
it's
favorite thing.
right. It's almost worse than drugs to some
It's my favorite
extent.
thing. Right. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't
So
drink, I don't party, but I sure like a good ding
you
dong, of
like
course.
right
I
or your
do.
Mountain Dew.
But
Like,
yeah, yeah. But I do think it's interesting that people have taken it upon themselves to be judge and jury about what someone buys, and
right.
it's amazing where the privileged have no concept. So when I was with the Wallaces, when they had all of us, we ate a lot of pasta.
Because it's cheap. Like,
It's cheap.
noodles and spaghetti
It's
sauce.
cheap.
It's cheap.
Exactly. It's cheap. That's it, plain and simple.
Mhm.
So the stuff with the most starch is the cheapest
Yep.
stuff.
Yep. Definitely.
So it's like, and I guess according to the advocates against it, of course, there's no study that says someone on SNAP is obese, if that makes sense, or only buying
Right. That's
junk
all
food.
they're buying. Right.
That's all they're buying. Right.
Right.
But we do understand that they have to buy because they have big families or bigger families that have to buy in quantities. So I
Right.
just thought it was interesting that a lot of states are adapting this, and I think it's just fascinating that is it really a great a good thing for the people, or is it people controlling people?
To me, it's people controlling people. Yes, you're going to have some people on Snap that's what they will buy, pop and junk food. But for the most part, it's most of the people on it are good, decent people that are just trying to stretch that
Well,
money for as far
yeah,
as they can. And it reminds me, around this time of year, people always post, you know how they have like free school supplies drives where you like come and get the backpack full of them. And people will post, well, if you're driving a Cadillac, I don't want to see you coming to get this. And I had parents that were not financially responsible with their money. And so you're going to make that child suffer and not give
yeah.
them that backpack when the parent isn't buying it. Like, how is that child's fault that
Well,
that parent is
yeah.
not responsible with their
That's
money?
re-
Like,
again. It's yeah. I'm with you. It's the same thing as school lunches. School lunches should be free, just period.
oh gosh,
Yeah,
yes.
no, we can spend a whole podcast on that, but exactly. So if you've got a parent that values of their vehicle, their Cadillac, and
Right.
which
Yes.
is true, their kid goes without because they're going
Yes.
to make sure that yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
we've seen. I've seen people without a job with the whitest sneakers I've ever seen, and I'm like, how the f are their sneakers so white?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It's like,
Right.
how is that humanly possible?
Yeah.
So it's all about priorities, and you can't penalize children
No.
for parents' poor choices. I know that for Pokey and I remember we were on food stamps for maybe a year and a half, and that was it. And I remember Pokey had to go, and I was working at the radio station and I was working at the skating rink. And I remember that Pokey had to go in for the verification, and they took my pay stubs, and the caseworker was like, okay, she goes, I don't understand. She goes, at the time I was her boyfriend. I don't think we were not married, but she goes, your boyfriend, she goes, works 80 hours a week.
Damn.
Between the two jobs at $5 an hour. And she goes, and you still qualify for food stamps. She goes, that's a broken system.
Oh, yeah. And it still is.
Yeah. But the minute, so we were on it for about a year and a half when Logan was a toddler, because we needed it. I was working 2 part-time jobs, and they weren't full-time, and there was no bennies or anything like that. And so, and $5 an hour, that was it. It was horrific. And so, but the minute I got a full-time job, we were, we didn't do food stamps, but
right.
The program is there for people who need it. So yes. I'm a big advocate of using programs, Now, you also know how I feel. If you're an able-bodied male who can work,
right?
My sympathy is a lot less. Why are you getting bennies when you're perfectly capable of fending for yourself, if that makes sense?
Right. Which you're always going to have the people that try to cheat the system,
of course,
or do things wrong. But that doesn't mean we take it away from everyone. Like, that seems to be the mindset nowadays. Is like, oh, it's getting abused, or Medicaid's this, or money. We got to take it away from everyone.
I don't understand that mentality. So I know that when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, I thought like that. So I look back. I'm a complete opposite, 100% opposite of how I used to believe. I used to be one of those people that I drank that Kool-Aid to where it's like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But it's interesting, even coming from behind pure poverty like I did. I'm only middle class, and you've known me a long time. That's not to toot my horn, but a lot of people don't work as hard as I do.
Oh no, that's true. Definitely
that's a true story, right? Yeah. So by going by just how hard I work, I should be a multimillionaire. Just by
what we're told in America, yeah.
Right, yeah. Right, and we could even say, and to clarify, if there's any award in my company, I've got them all.
Yes,
Employee of the year, employee of the month, they're stacked. No, they're stacked.
Right.
But guess what it doesn't equate into?
The dollars.
The money, exactly. Now, am I valuable? Sure, I guess to the company to some extent. But the hilarity is, it's like I'm not getting rich. I'm not rich.
No.
But if hard work was based on monetary, both you and I should be the richest people on the planet.
Oh yeah.
But it's not. It's not based on that. And then it's also not just based on, again, it's like somebody that flips burgers at Jack in the Box to me has just as much importance as some stupid CEO making $20 million a year.
Yes.
In my book.
Definitely. I agree with you.
They just do. And so, and if you're not gonna pay them enough to survive, then they should be able to get some bennies. So my viewpoint has changed a lot on those different things. I hate when people go, work harder.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Work harder? What are you talking about? Work harder? I just, and I love it because there was a great meme a couple days ago on Facebook where it showed a upper middle class, house, and then it showed an apartment and said, "Don't tell me that you got the same start." And that's what people who want to keep other people down think. It's like whatever, you got something that I didn't get, so I resent you.
Right.
You're getting a couple $100 extra in food stamps, or you're getting food stamps. Well, I don't get that.
Right.
I don't get that.
Right.
Well, okay. But where did you grow up? Well, I grew up in West Seattle, and my parents made $400,000 a year, and they paid for my college. All these different things.
I inherited all this money and this real estate.
Right. But you're going to go kick somebody getting $200 extra for food stamps a month because that's ridiculous.
Yep.
So that's my big.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, finish. I know. Yeah.
It also bothers me, you were talking about how you once had to be on food stamps. It really
Yeah.
bothers me, people that have used the system at one point in time, mainly back when they were younger and falling on hard times. And again, that's what it is there for.
Absolutely.
But then once they become on their doing well, making money, they're not on the system anymore. Well, now they don't want people to use that system. They don't want their
I know
money
it's
to go towards that
yeah.
system. And it's like,
I
how
don't
is
get
that
it.
fair? Like, you
Right.
used it when you needed it, but now that you're rich and you don't want your money, or middle class or whatever it is, and now you don't want your taxes to go to that. How is that fair? Like, it's
the
just
most
hypocritical to me. I hate it so much.
Absolutely. Well, that's what we're dealing with right now, and we're dealing with that when housing, when people bought their houses, when they bought their house for $75,000,
Yes.
And they're boomers, and they turn around and look at Matthew or Benjamin or Logan and go, "What do you mean you can't afford a $450,000 home?"
Right. Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was working for the state. And I got a pension. Well,
right.
Trust me. At least working in radio, guess what? You're getting jack shit.
Yeah, there's no pensions anymore either.
There's no pension, and there's no there's no. Well, but that's how they. Well, then you should go. Well, why aren't you working for the state? Why aren't you working for the government? It's like, wow. I mean, just the way of thinking. You need burger flippers just as much as you need CEOs. Actually, you probably need more burger flippers than you need CEOs in this planet. Sorry, plain and simple.
Yes. Which it boggles my mind that in America, we have, as the workers, all the worker bees in America, we have this power taken away from us by all these billionaires and millionaires, when in reality, we all hold the power. Like, if they didn't have us, they wouldn't be millionaires and gazillionaires if we weren't the little worker bees getting everything done for them. If we all just did a general strike for a day or 2 days, however many days, like, they would lose money. They would lose money from it.
But they're afraid. But the worker bees are afraid because what little they have.
Right. They can't afford to not work a day or 2 days.
Right. But what little they have is what they've got, and they're terrified of losing that. Yeah. And I do understand why why you think like that. But it's like, and that's but that's as Logan has told me, we sadly didn't get to where we get today without violence. And that's a sad situation where with labor unions back in the day, people gave up their lives for labor unions. And, Henry Ford didn't just wake up one morning and was benevolent.
Oh, no.
His workers forced him into it.
Right.
The workers forced him into it.
Right.
Hey, you want these shitting Model TAs out the door. Right. You're gonna take care of it.
Right.
And we kind of need, hopefully in the future, we'll see that, the pendulum swing back that way.
Which it is his fault that we have a 5-day work week. It's all his fault.
Because that was the compromise, basically, right? That was kind of the compromise.
Well, he was working his people to death, and that was the 5-day work week was the compromise. So yeah,
was the compromise. But even when it goes back to the SNAP situation, it's like, is taking soda pop away from people gonna change obesity? They're saying it won't. They're not saying
No, it's not.
They're gonna treat pop like they treat cigarettes.
I mean, that's basically what is happening, and energy drinks are going to be on the list too. So, I do understand limiting that. I think a better way to do it would be to, I like what you said earlier about the Red Bull and your kids. Hey, one energy drink per day. Right.
So maybe there's a limit, like you can buy a 6-pack a week or something.
Right.
Whatever that limit's going to be. I just think just barring it, I don't know if that. But some would say beggars can't be choosers. You're right. Beggars can't be choosers. I get it. But I think sometimes that, like you said, we attack the whole and not the individual.
Right. Which is usually what happens to everything.
Yeah. It's like, because like welfare fraud, they've already proven that welfare fraud is 0.5%.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous, but that's a, like you said, for some people, that's the flag they wave.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's getting something that I'm not.
Yep.
Even though I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, I'm going to make damn sure that person doesn't get anything.
Yep. And they're cheating the system.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
And that
Using my tax
is not,
dollars. What gets me is how most of the people think that it's, not white people that are the majority on welfare or SNAP.
It is.
They are the highest percentage of people that use it and are on it. It's like,
yes.
it blows my mind. Like, how do you not know this? Like,
white, and the hilarity is white unworking males.
I mean, it's just white. I mean, I know it's just white people in general that are the majority.
Right, but that blows me away. That blows me away. But yes, the majority is, yeah,
crazy. Well, on that happy note, we should probably wrap things up since we are.
Was that a happy note?
No, I'm being completely sarcastic.
Okay, I was going to say. All right. Well, there's a good downer to leave you, Dave, guys. Yes. Thanks for listening.
That was my Logan sarcasm for you. Yeah. Yes. Again, remember, we have a Facebook and Instagram page. I'm trying to throw things on there. I'll do better at posting stuff so you can like and follow us there. And thank you so much for sticking around and listening to Rik and that Michelle chick.